Isaiah 6 shares us a story about the prophet's encounter with God. He meets him in the temple, and there's uh, all these angels proclaiming God's holiness to Isaiah. And the first thing Isaiah does is he recognizes his own sinfulness. He says, "Woe is me." And then he says something that I think is very interesting. He says, "I am a man of unclean lips, and I live with people who have unclean lips." And it's interesting that the lips were the biggest concern that Isaiah had. Apparently, they were his big weakness that he was struggling with. But the angel actually gives Isaiah a message. He says that his sin is actually purged and he's forgiven, which is really cool. Then when the Lord asks for somebody to actually represent him, Isaiah humbly submits to the Lord and says, "Hey, here I am. Go send me." And the prophet was actually a spokesperson for God in Israel's time. And so Isaiah had his really big weakness, which was his lips, but the Lord used that area that Isaiah was the weakest in to actually proclaim his messages. So in a way, his biggest weakness actually became his biggest strength. God often does the same thing for us today. We have struggles that we go through, and we are like, why do we keep going through the same struggle over and over again, and nothing seems to be getting any better? Well, a lot of times, the area of your biggest struggle, your biggest weakness, can actually be the area that God moves through the greatest, and where God's glory is shown. Because when we are weak, but we are still able to overcome, we know that is God working through us instead of we working through ourselves.